Welcome back. All right, so in this video, we're going to take care of those top planks that are sitting on top of the top wood planks here. Okay, and to do that, I think I'm going to get the transform here because this is where they're in the center, and that'll work pretty well for us. So I'm going to use that as my reference. So we'll say, call this the centered top planks. Right? Again, I'm naming it so I can get access to this easily, and it allows me to search for it using the IntelliSense here inside of Houdini when I'm typing out the BBbox function. All right, so in order to do this, what I'm going to do is create a line, because lines are great to use for placement. So these are going to be the top planks line. All right. Well, actually, just call them top supports. We'll call these little guys supports. I'm sure they actually have a real name in real life. Okay, so what we need to do is make this sit in Z. So we're going to use our preset that we made. So ZDER centered. So you can see how that really speeds up our workflow there. So I highly recommend making presets. And the more you get to using Houdini, the more you'll see what you can make a preset out of and what not to. So, and then I'm going to use a carve to do that offset. So this is another great preset. Do I have one set up already? No. So we'll set it up now. So what I'm going to do is just copy the parameter and paste the relative reference. And we want to do a 1 minus. So now we have, so we'll call this, we'll say save preset. We'll call this the ends or equal offset. How about that? And we'll say save preset. Now we can always go and set that back up, just so you're not having to type everything in all the time, you know. All right, so now that we have that all good to go, what I want to do is use a resample node. Now this resample node allows us to add more points to the line, and it does it in an even way, right? So we have two ways of doing this for the particular line. So you have this maximum segment length, and this basically is telling the line or the resample how long each one of these little segments should be. All right, so right now it's set to 0.2. So the length of each one of these segments is 0.236. Or we could actually just explicitly define the amount of segments here. So we can do something like that. And I'm going to use that version because it just makes it a little bit easier, right? I mean, maybe I'll show you guys both because the cool part about the maximum segments is I can say how far spaced out they should be. And as the line gets longer, so let's say I go change this line. So let me turn on the point numbers here so you can see this. So as I change the length of the line, we start getting more points, right? So we don't have to define it. It's doing it based off of the length here. Okay. I don't know. It's kind of a toss-up, right? Sometimes, you know, artists want to be able to just explicitly control how many they want on there. And sometimes you just kind of want it to generate it by itself based off of the length. So those are those two options there. So I wanted to show that. Okay. So let's just keep it on this one here. Okay. So again, what we need to do is place this on top of that center top planks there. So I need a transform like so, and I'm going to take this BBbox and say centered top planks dy size, and that'll put it right on top. So if I were to template this here, you can see now it's sitting right on top. Perfect. And we need to make sure that the length of this line here is the length of these top planks. So we could just use this top length right here. And what I want to do is just copy this parameter because that is the length right there. And we'll just paste it in here. And now if I were to show this final result and the centered planks, there you go. So now we've got a perfect line with our offset and everything. Perfect. And now what we need is the box itself. So this is pretty easy. All right, so we need to make sure that the box itself in the X direction here is the width of all the planks. So this X direction needs to be controlled with another PB box, like so. And we'll get that information from that center top planks, and we'll say DX size. There we go. So now it's the perfect size. And then we want to make sure that the height of this guy is not super huge. And we'll make that an exposed parameter as well. And just feed that one parameter into both the support boxes. And then finally, we need to make sure that this thing isn't so wide. There we go. All right, so then I want to make sure that it's sitting on the grid, right? Because when I go to copy it to the points, I want it to be sitting on top of all these wood planks here, okay? And that's pretty easy. We'll just say $ymax. And there we go. So now it's sitting perfectly. All right, so let's take a look at the reference really quick here. Yeah, so we definitely want control over it because they're all kind of different sizes and stuff for these guys, all the dimensions, or at least the heights and the widths. So again, I'm going to make it a little bit flatter on top. Oops. There we go. And I'm going to add a little bit of an offset. So I'm going to say subtract 0.02. There we go. And then we can just copy the points. So say copy 2 points. Boom. And we can control the offset here. So we can get them inside a little bit more, because if we look at the reference, they're not all the way out. Cool, but you do want control, right? Because sometimes you want them in a little bit more and out a little bit further. And we can go and control the number of them that we have. Perfect. So I'm going to add a parameter for that really quick. So I'm going to come in here and go edit parameter interface. Now these are all just our quick setups. We're going to actually make this an official digital asset. But this is how you do it quickly, or at least this is how I do it quickly while I'm working on the actual digital asset before I go and make it a final digital asset. So I'm going to call this the top support count, and then give it a nice label and set up the range. So I want at least 2, and the max can be 6 again. We'll just say that. And we'll set it to 3 for default. Hit apply and accept. Now, you'll notice that when we have 2 for the segments in this resample node, we get 3. And that's just because it resamples it twice, right? So 1, 2, it leaves us with 3 points, right? So if I want 3, right? So if this particular parameter here says 3, then I need to subtract 1 so we actually get 3. So, you know, whoever's using this digital asset thinks they have 3, or they want 3 top supports. We just have to do a little bit of work on our side to accommodate that. So we'll just subtract 1. There you go. So now it matches. Cool. And then finally, we will merge these guys here together. So I'm going to drop down another merge node, like so, and then just feed that into here because that's the placement. And voila. We now have an ammo crate. Now you don't maybe necessarily need the bottom parts. You can go and set up the digital asset to do that. I'm not going to do that here. I think this will work just fine. I really kind of want to show the basic process here. I think we've shown or walked through quite a lot of different techniques, so it's pretty easy to come up with how to do something like that. You could always actually, this is actually a good thing. So if you want to move around whole sections of your graph, hold down Shift and click a node, and that'll move the top half. If you hold down Control, it moves the bottom half. Anyways, so let's go and place these guys. I'm going to put this guy up here somewhere. And I want to adjust this as well. So I'll do that. I always like to keep these guys relatively clean and organized so I can actually see what I'm doing. It can get out of hand quite quickly. All right, now we're organized. I feel better. All right, so what I want to do is actually show you. So when I go to mirror the top and bottom here, right, we could actually create groups, I believe, in here. Or not. That's too bad. So again, what we can do is we can create some groups up here. So this is where all those top planks are. So I'm going to create another group node, and I'm going to call it top supports, like so. And then when we go and flip it, what I want to do is I want to say, give a little switch, basically, and allow the end user here to make the choice. Do I want to have these guys on the bottom or not, kind of thing. So what I'm going to do is do another group. All right, and actually what I can do is do another group, and what we're going to do is use the bounding box. So we're going to say keep in bounding regions, and I'm just going to set this right now such that it is just sitting below, and we can make this all procedural here a little bit later, but I kind of want to just go get the point across here. So these are going to be the bottom. So this is bottom planks. And then what I can do, if everything goes well, is I can say blast. So we're going to say blast bottom planks, and then just reverse that. So I just get the bottom, and then what I want to do is blast the top supports. And did that work? It's just because I didn't turn on the, there you go. I got to make sure I actually enable that. So now I just have the bottom with no supports or anything like that. So I have two options here. I have both, and then I have none. So what I need to do is create both those versions. So this is bottom planks right here, and what I need is just the top. So we're going to get rid of everything. So top supports, not top supports. Oh, there we go. Bottom planks, there we go. So I want that version, or I want, this version. So I want the top here, like so, first, and then I want to create a switch. Sorry, I'm definitely thinking while I'm doing this here. There we go. So now I have the switch, so I can decide what type of bottom I have, and then I have the top here, so I want to merge these back together now and feed this back in. So now I have the choice of removing those bottom ones. There we go. So now we don't have the bottom ones, or we do. Cool. So I'm going to leave them on for now, but that is a way to do it. There's plenty of different ways you could accomplish that. That was just the one I kind of came up with off the cuff there. All right. Cool. So I'm going to actually close out the video there. And in the next video, we're going to start some detailing work. I want to get through some beveling. I'm going to add some more resolution. Yeah, so we'll do that. Thanks.